So now it's time to create the connections that will change the node's names. So to implement it, we first need to pass this selection of nodes that we have here. For example, if I want to change these nodes and replace my null with my control or whatever. So to pass this, we need to edit here when we instantiate this, and we will pass here the nodes that we have selected. So who selected nodes. This will pass here a list of nodes, so like so. Now it won't work because the class doesn't expect any arguments. So let's enable that. So here we need to add here the argument that we want, and we can store it in here. So now we can use it. Okay, so the first thing will be to store the names. The way this will work is that as soon as we type, the nodes will start changing the names. So it will be interactive. So every time I change any of these things, the names will change. So if I close this window, the names will stay changed. So the first thing is to store this name in a variable. I will store it in a dictionary that will store the node and its name. So that's the first thing. So I will create a function here called store names. So let's create a dictionary called node names, and it will be an empty dictionary. So for every node in self.nodes, I will add a new entry to the dictionary. So self.node names, and the key will be the node, and the value will be the node's name. So node.name. So now we store that here. So we need to call this function right at the beginning. So even though we change the names after, we have the original names stored. So then if we cancel, we can restore that. And if we rename, we will just need to close the window. So that's the first two connections that we will make. So to make those connections, I'm going to make another function called connections. And I will put it here so I don't forget. Okay. So the way these connections work in PySite is that every widget, well, many widgets have what's known as signals, and signals are triggered when an event happens, when a text changed, when a checkbox was marked, when a button was pushed. And when that happens, we can call a function. So for example, we will start with these two, and the cancel button, when this is clicked, this is the name of the signal. When this is clicked, we want to connect a function. So when we cancel, we want to restore the names. So this is a custom function that we have to create. So I will create it down here, restore names. And for now, I will just print restore, and then we will implement it. And for the OK button, I just need to close it, and that's a built-in function for the queue dialog, and it's just self.close. So I will duplicate it, and for the OK button it will be self.close. So those are my first two signals. So let's check if this works. Let's select some nodes, and if I cancel, you see that I get this restore. You see? And if I rename, this gets closed. So now that I think, if I cancel, I want first to restore the names and then close it. So I will go back to my code, and first I want to restore and then I want to close. So when I hit cancel, let's clear this, I restored it and now it's closed. So that's my first two signals. So the next signals will be triggered when any of the search, replace, prefix or suffix or remove digits widgets change. So for example, let's start with the self.search, and the signal it's called text changed. So when this is triggered, we want to connect a function called rename, and we want to do the same for the replace, for the prefix and the suffix. So change it here, search replace prefix and suffix. For the checkbox, the signal will be different. It will be called state changed. So I will duplicate it. Oh, hide this. So the remove digits checkbox, when the state was changed, I want to also rename. So I will create the rename function here, just as we created the restore names, and I will just print rename, like so. So now if I hit this, if I type here, you see that we get the rename triggered. When I change it as well, when I type here, every time I change any of these fields, see that we have the rename function triggered. So now I can cancel and it's restored and closed. So that's my connections. In the next lesson, I'm going to implement those functions and the tool will be almost completed. So see you there. Bye bye.